So the contents of my presentations are these. I will start with the introduction, then I will discuss about the problems in the HEIs, that why we need quality 4.0 and why we need to upgrade ourselves. Then I will discuss about the applications and the quality 4.0 itself. I will be discussing about the quality 4.0 first, what is the framework of this new technique, and then I will discuss about the applications, that how we can use it in the higher education. And of course, the last session will be about the question answers. So I will start with my introduction. So Dr. Sanam Somro already gave it. So these are my contacts. If you want to have a future collaboration or have some discussion about quality 4.0, we can have discussion. So you can scan my QR code, ma'am. Okay. So what are the current problems in our universities or higher education institute? I will discuss. We have the problem of poor planning. We don't have very good plans, how to initiate, how to start. Whenever we have a new academic year or we have a new fiscal year, so it's very difficult to gather the requirements and plan the budgets, plan the academic procession, and how to conduct the other activities. For example, we are all the QEC families, so we have to plan basically our activities throughout the years. So it's very difficult to gather the requirement. I will tell you that how we can overcome this problem. We have another problem that our institutions are very huge. We have a lot of resources available within the organization, including the equipment, skills, and different types of resources which are very difficult to tap. We don't know that where this resource would be and how we can use them effectively. We have the problems of preservation of knowledge, how we can preserve the knowledge. What are the different aspects which we learn each year? What are the success factors? What are the problems we have faced, and we should not do these things so that we can overcome the problems. So preservation of knowledge is another important aspect. Regulatory body requirements. Yes, regulatory bodies are, they have huge requirements. I made them like this, but maybe they may be not like this, but of course their requirements are keep on changing. Every day they provide us something new, and their compliances and issues we have to face every day. Poor risk assessment. We don't have any risk management mechanism, and what we do, we basically wait for something, some issue or some problem to occur, and we are very reactive. We always do the firefighting. We don't have the risk management and risk assessment techniques. We have lack of skills. That is also one of the major problem in QVCs and also all around the institution, that if we require something new, for example, some new technologies are evolving and we want to implement that, we don't have the skills. We have to upgrade our people, and we have to foresee, we have to forecast that what is going to be happen and how we have to develop the skills in our people. And of course, I hope you guys seen this ad. Okay, poor communication. Poor communication is also a very major problem in not only in our universities but also in the industries. We don't have the communication mechanisms which are very effective, and also the language barrier. We of course still मैं यहाँ पर भी जो सेमिनार कर रहा हूँ अपनी लैंग्वेज में नहीं कर रहा, जिसकी वजह से जो communication barriers है, those are there. So basically, communication is also a very major problem. So what are the causes of these problems? If we analyze the root causes, the first one, poor planning. The root causes, we don't have the database or data available. Using that, we can estimate the thing and we can plan things well. So this is all another problem, that we don't have the data available, and even what the data we send to HEC or other institutions, we have to preserve that data in such a way that it should be useful for us. We can use that data for our later planning. So this is a very important thing. Okay. The next problem is resource traceability, and we can what is the cause, what are the causes of this? We don't have the real-time traceability of the resources, that where the equipments are, is this person on vacation, or is he available or not. So basically this is also another issue. Regulatory body requirements are keep on changing, and those are not very clearly defined, and we cannot tap that. This is also a very major problem. So basically, regulatory body requirements are not very clearly defined. Those are not specific. They are very, generic in nature. KPIs, our KPIs are very static. The problem is we don't get the real-time data, due to which we have the KPIs or data available. For example, if we ask someone to provide us the data, so they will ask us that what type of data you want from January to December or July to June. So this is the problem. We should have the real-time data, and also our regulatory body, they ask for the data for the specific period of time. They don't ask the data which is available currently right now. So this is a very major problem. Then we have lack of trainings and experience. We don't provide the trainings based on the lack of skills. We design a training calendars, and then we start our calendar and we provide the trainings. We don't analyze that what type of trainings are required, why these are required. Do we really analyze the ACRs of our employees? That what the chairperson and HODs have written in that what type of skills are lacking. So we don't do that. So we need to analyze that as well. And I will tell you that how using the new technology we can incorporate it. Lack of risk assessment. We don't have any risk assessment. We don't foresee that what problem is coming and how we should overcome that. The communication barrier is a very big problem. We don't have a very effective communication channels, and usually we are using the emails and WhatsApp and these kind of communication channels which do not provide the real-time data and real-time scenarios which is happening all around us, and that is the reason maybe we are not able to assess the risk before it happens. That why these problems are occurring and what are the solutions of these problems. The solution is, if we gather the real time data throughout the organization, it will be easier for us to do the planning. If we have the digital systems through which we can track our resources, so it will be easier for us to have the utilization of these resources. If we digitally archive the knowledge of the university or knowledge of our QEC, so it will be easier for us to use that for the further planning. We have to simulate the risk. The solution is we have to simulate the risk and generate the multiple scenarios that what can happen and how we can overcome on that. We have to collaborate with the regulatory bodies in a manner that we can get the data, fetch the data, and we can get this specific types of their requirements. We should have online and virtual trainings like we are doing now, so that we can have the we can train the people, and of course we should have the digital and virtual communication. We should have some sort of mechanism through which we can devise the digital and virtual communication, not only limited to the WhatsApp and emails. So the problems and of these can be sorted out using the new technique which is called quality 4.0, and how we can overcome the problems I will discuss. So what is quality 4.0? So basically, what is quality 4.0? So quality 4.0 is the leveraging of technology, but leveraging of technology is not on a standalone manner, but also involving people together, so that the outcome or the deliverable or the product or service produced by the entities should be affected or influenced by the technology. So basically, it is the use of technology, implementation of technology, but in a very effective manner, so that we can improve our systems. It has two major things, that we have to use the technology if it adds the value, if it creates the value. We don't have to use the technology if it does not create the value. Okay. And the second thing is to effectively deliver the governance. And of course, if we talk about the quality 4.0 for the higher education, it is very important to use these tools effectively and with the different. Great, it's being visible now. ठीक है जी. So basically, we have to use this technology effectively so that we can deliver the governance, assurance, and improvement. So this technology should not be the standalone. It should create the value in the organization, as well as it should have some impact over the organization. So it is quality 4.0. Quality 4.0 is basically influenced by the industry 4.0, and how it is started. I will go through this, and I will tell. you that the era when it was about 1800 century when the steam engine was first invented, and they were used for the railway, and it was basically it started with the automatic transportation. So basically it basically created the value in transportation. We had the effective transportation using the steam engine. In industry 2.0, it was in the start of 1900s when the electricity was invented. And it's a debate that who invented the electricity, that Thomas Edison or Tesla. So I'll not go in that, but with the invention of electricity, the productivity of the industry was enhanced. Later on in 1960s, when the computer was invented, the industry 3.0 era was started, and in that era, programmable robots and industrial robots and these kind of other automation techniques were adopted. Yes, I'm again sharing the screen. Okay. Later on, Industry 4.0 was started in earlier also this about this. So of course, it is also inspired from the industry. So Quality 1.0 was started with the quality control, the mechanism which basically which has the influence so that it does not allow something defective to enter into the system or go out through the system. So we are basically restricting our incoming raw material, or we can say that if we are talking about the institute, so we are taking the entry test, we are taking the different types of admission criteria. Based on that, we are not allowing something to enter into our institution which is not up to the quality. So this was the quality 1.0, and also we are not allowing somebody to go out from our system which is defective. It means that we are taking examination, we have set the criteria that minimum GPA will be this. So it's the quality 1.0. Quality 2.0 is when we say about the quality design. Now we are not controlling the input and output only, but we are also designing the system so that we are making sure that whatever is inside the system, it is also not producing the defective. Keep in your mind that, for example, if we are taking a very good raw material from somewhere, and our processes and our system is not very well, so we may generate some defective from the system. So we have to design our system in such a manner that it will not produce the defective. So this is quality 2.0. Then there was an era when quality 3.0 arrived, and it was the quality assurance era, that at each process we will make people responsible to make sure that whatever they are doing, that is based on the quality techniques. They should have some barriers and some sieves through which they will not produce the defectives. And now this is the era of quality 4.0, when we are embedding the whole system with the digital systems. We are making the things collaborative, and we have the analytics, and we have all the things which is based on the cloud system, cyber physical system. So this is quality 4.0. And quality 4.0 has 11 axes. Okay, these are the 11 axes that we have to work on. That is data. First one is data. The data which is being gathered, we should have some mechanism to gather the data. We should analyze the data using the big data analytics techniques. We should have the connectivity through which we can directly fetch the data in real time rather than taking the static data. We should have the collaborations not within the institution also, but also throughout our stakeholders, where we can get the data, we can get the information. So we should have the collaborations. We should have different types of apps available through which where stakeholders can input their requirements, and they can also interact with us. We should have scalability. For example, we have a system and we want to enhance it up to several other entities, so we can enhance it using the scalability techniques. We should have a management system through which we can manage the whole system. We can keep an eye on that. We can plan the system, we can execute the system, we can monitor and control the system, and we can efficiently manage it. We should have the compliances, we should have some barriers, we should have some policies through which we will operate the whole system. We should have a culture that people should aware about this, that how this system is working. Culture means we have to change the mindset of people that this is quality 4.0 and how we have to use it. Of course, leadership is a very important role. They have very important role. If they are not aligned with this quality 4.0, we will not be able to do that. And of course, the competent people, the basic problem of Pakistan, the competency. Okay, so competency is very important. The right people at the right time doing the right job. So this is very important. So, what are the current issues if we apply the quality 4.0 on our academia as it is? So, these are the problems that we don't have any very practical framework through which we can apply it, because this is entirely made for the industry. We cannot adopt it as it is. Okay, we have quite generic type of framework available, and it is basically designed for manufacturing system. And of course, there is a lack of connectivity due to the infrastructure, which is not quite very well in Pakistan. Even the electricity is not, very well uninterrupted. It is disturbing. So because of these problems, we are unable to adopt it. But we presented a framework for the implementation of quality 4.0. This is the whole framework through which we can implement it. I also presented a paper in Spain about this, that how we can do this. But still, in NET, we are also trying to make it in some islands. Then we are going to connect it together. So it starts with the compliance, that we should keep an eye on the regulatory bodies, that what they are asking for, what are the information they needed. So we should have some bots. And what are bots? These are the computer programs, and we deploy them on cloud systems, and they basically keep an eye on different websites. For example, Pakistan Engineering Council, Pakistan Medical Council, HEC, Sindh HEC. So whatever the new updates are there, they will take that data, and using the chatbot or like that thing, chat GPT or like that thing, they will make the summarized form of that, and they will produce it to the quality assurance team, that these are the new requirements which are available on their website. We don't need to go to website and every time we have to look at all the information that what is new there. So basically these may be the type of bots which will provide the data. Then of course we should have the competency access. Sorry, competency access. In competency access, what we do, we gather the data through the ACRs, through the updation of data from the people, for example, about the human resource structure, facilities, and knowledge. And we do the SWOT analysis. And we don't do the SWOT analysis using some traditional techniques. For example, we make very focus groups, and then we do the SWOT analysis traditionally. But in this system, you have to input all the data, and in real time, this data will be fetched to the system, and it will do the SWOT analysis what is in the favor and what is not in the favor of the organization. University leadership will, of course, prepare the vision and mission of the HEIs, and which attainment must be measured, and its attainment should be measured through the KPIs, and those KPIs are for the strategic objectives and the program educational objectives, of course. And these POs and strategic objectives will be fetched through the, of course, bounded by the policies, which policies and the processes, your SOPs, your systems. So it will constrain the data and the people requirements within these policies and processes. And of course, your KPIs will be measured through the apps, different apps which are available for faculty, students, other stakeholders, employees. So we'll be getting the data from these apps. We will be generating the KPIs. Of course, the KPIs will have some benchmarks. These KPIs will be measuring the attainment of strategic objectives and POs, and of course the attainment of vision and mission. So these all things should be very well aligned together, so that we can measure that how close we are towards our vision. So this is a framework, but of course we are working on it, and it's sometimes very difficult to attain many things. So but we are trying our best. So what are the different technologies which are important to implement this framework? Now I'm going to discuss it. So the first thing is Internet of Things. Okay, it is the major requirement. So what is Internet of Things and what are the applications of this? I will discuss. Then we have big data analytics, we have cloud computing, cyber security, simulations, augmented and virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and of course cyber physical systems. So what are the applications of these technologies on our systems, on our institutions and our universities? So I will start with the IoTs. So IoTs are basically the sensors, you can say sensors, or such sort of things which basically directly fetch the data in real time, and it communicates this data to the network or cloud where you can get this data. For example, if we have ACs at our home nowadays, air conditions. So through the mobile we can see that what is the temperature at the room now. If we have the security cameras at our home, I can I can see on my mobile that what it's showing. So we are connected through the cloud system. So it is also the part of IoTs, or we call it Internet of Things. So what are the applications of this in university? which entity is working for. So basically we are we are trying to use an image recognition for attendance. For example, students are sitting in the class, so image recognition, through the image recognition we can make the attendance. For example, somebody enters into the university, so cameras are there, they can detect that who is in the university and who are not. It will be very easier for the organization to trace out that which person is present today and who are not, and we can call that somebody's if they are at a specific location, so we can also trace them that where they are. Image recognition for student emotion feedback. There is a problem in our feedback system, very basic problem, and the problem is that we take the feedback at the end of the session. Okay, and we don't have any room to improve throughout the session. So basically, through this system, we will be able to take the facial expression of the students, and it will provide the feedback to the teachers in the real time that did the student like your sessions or not, and how you have to improve that. So basically, we should have the image recognition system for the student facial expressions. Of course, we can also have the systems for the parking allotment and availability. Through the image recognition system, we can see that how many parking locations are available and where it is available. So through the mobile app, you can see that where I can park my car within the campus. Classroom availability. Okay, we can embed the IoTs in classroom doors or somewhere like the electricity system. So we can see that which classroom is available now and which classroom is occupied. We can also do the building utilization effectively, that which portion of the building, and of course, it can also save the energy, that at which part we need to enable the electricity system and at which part we don't have to. And of course, it will also include the HVAC system. Invigilation, we can also do the invigilation. We don't need invigilator if we embed some cameras and systems there, and we can do some programming. Books in the library, we can trace the books in the library, that how many books are there, what are, of course, library management system can also be embedded with this. Availability of faculty for consultation. A student can see on their mobile that which faculty is available in their room and to whom I can go easily. Of course, that will be the IoT system which will be embedded with the faculty doors and their maybe their real time. They have some sort of application through which they can say that we are available or not. They can enable their availability or they cannot. So students can see on the mobile. What is big data analytics? Using all the data which we are getting either through the facial expressions, through the class attendance, through the feedback, or we can analyze the whole data which can be used for the faculty student class feedback. Okay, we can improve the feedback. We have the data. We can even predict that what teacher can do with the student, what type of teacher can do what type of course, and what type of interaction the teacher is very well in that. Okay, sometimes some of the teachers are very good in the student centric classroom, and some are very good in the teacher centric thing. So we can also evaluate through the feedback. We can effectively utilize the facilities by predicting or forecasting that on which particular date, on which time, what type of facility will be available and when it will be available. We can also improve our resource and resource utilization. We can also correlate among the parameters that, for example, today is a very hot weather. So what is the attendance in the classroom? So if I want to predict that I want to keep a class on that day, the temperature would be this. So how many students are expected to come in my classroom? Or how many people would be coming into the seminar, for example. We can forecast using these things. We can correlate the things. And of course, we can forecast the future requirement of resource. For example, if we do the admission or entry test, so what happens that at University Road, the whole road is jammed. We don't know that how many cars will come, how many parents will come along with the students. So we can predict these things using the data if we have a good data available with us. Cloud computing is also very important, component of this whole industry 4.0. Using the cloud computing, we can take the online test or examination. Currently at NED University, our admission entry test is totally based on online CBT. Okay, we have an online software through which we take the test, and even from last 3 years, what we are doing that if our candidates are in Dubai, Sharjah, or sometimes they are in Saudi Arabia, so they request us that we cannot travel to take the test. So what we do, we find our proctors there, we send the proctors to their home, we ask for their IPs, and we conduct the test online. So they are sitting in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, or anywhere around the globe, we take their entry test at their homes by sending our proctors and having that cloud-based test system. So we should have some e-platform systems where we can store the data, and those places are reliable where we can fetch the data as well. So we are also practicing that We can of course do the analysis also on the cloud-based systems. Cybersecurity is the main, should be the main feature of this whole system, because we don't want our data to be leaked, our system to be hacked by the hackers. So our IoTs, our whole data transfer and everything should be very secure. So for this purpose, we have at NIT we have a center for HEC awarded as a center for cyber physical system. So basically they are working on the solutions, and they are also providing the solutions to the industry and HEC. Simulation modeling, we should do the simulation. As I told you that we don't do the risk assessment. For the risk assessment, we must simulate. And if we simulate, we will be able to analyze our cash flows. That if we are doing the expenditure in this way, so how the expenditure will be after 4 or 5 months. If the inflation goes like this, so what will be our cash flow? So we should do the simulation. We are trying to do this, and up to some extent we are successful as well. But of course, the situation in Pakistan is very volatile. So we don't know that what is going to be happen. Like for example, yesterday the dollar rise up to 8 rupees. So how we can incorporate these things? So it is very fluctuating. So we can't forecast very accurately. But up to such level, our vice chancellor has some dashboard through which we can see how the budget is going, how the inflows are there, and how the outflows are there, what is the taxation and type of things. And we can also predict our facility utilization. We can simulate our system for the lean system. We can remove the waste from our system. It is very important. As we know that we have a registrar department, we have examination department. Sorry for those people who belongs to this department. But what we do for our students, they have a long queues there. They have a very rash behavior with the students. So basically, students are our opportunities. Of course, they will become our alumni, and they will be, they should have some positive impact of the university. But unfortunately, these departments are not very, we have to simulate the things so that we can remove the waste from the systems, waiting times and energy and so on. So virtual reality is also a very important part of this. And virtual reality, as you know, that we wear some glasses and virtually we are inside some system and viewing the system in 3D. So what is the importance of this? As I am now here in Dow Institute, and that this is a medical institute, I hope that the teachers and instructors have some sort of mechanism through which they can show students that how virtually they can do something. They can go to the virtual environment and they can create some new scenarios where they can learn. For example, at our university, we have a VR center, a virtual reality center. If you are interested, please contact me and come to our university. I will show you the virtual reality center. What we have, we generate such kind of products in that, the CAD models of those products which are not available within the university physically. And we can see that object. We can also open it through the system, and we can see that what is inside, what are the different components through which this system is made. So it's a very effective system for teaching. We can implement it. And of course, augmented reality is the advancement of virtual reality through which we can sense the thing. It is a sensory thing. For example, you can see this is a warehouse where a person is moving and taking his tablet. And through the tablet, he is getting the information that how much quantity of this SKU is available there. So what we can do within our campus, we can also have such kind of tablet. And if somebody moves, so he can see that what department is there. So the directions can be done using this technique. We can also have the different scenarios or simulations we can generate using the augmented reality, and it's very popular now. We are all maybe using it. I designed my whole home using the VR and AR technique. So what could be the possible applications? So visualization of new facilities. For example, there is a development in your university. Okay, there is some construction, it is happening, and you want to show your stakeholders that how it will look like. So you just bring the mobile or tablet there, and it will show that how it will look like within the. So you can do the experimentations and practicals for the student. We can do the simulation for the research. We can develop the products, and of course we can see the resource utilization. That using the AR VR technique, we can see that how much resources are embedded within the whole system. We can also do the asset management. Okay, asset management is also very important aspect of our universities. AI techniques are very popular, and I hope you all guys know from the chat GPT that what it is doing. So what are the possible applications? We can forecast the resources and facilities. We can use the alarms when risks are triggered. When the risks are simulated, if it reaches up to a certain threshold, so the system can alarm us we can see the decisions on cash flow. We can ask the system, AI systems, that what you will do if the cash flow goes like that, if the inflows are there and outflows are there, where you are, we can ask AI system that I have this sort of money, I have this amount of money, and I have these heads to spend. So based on the priority, tell me where I should spend. So AI systems can also guide us that where I should spend with the limited amount of money. So these type of decisions we can take. We can acquire and process data from different regulatory bodies. So cyber physical system, it is the integration of these all IoTs, physical systems, and the cloud-based systems together. And it is nowadays, the whole cities are converting into the smart cities. I went to Barcelona. Barcelona is a Copenhagen, Singapore. These are the smart cities. And we are still, our universities and our entities are not smart. So we have to work on that, and we have to integrate that. So it is the integration of hardware and software. So in my conclusion, not taking too much time, I'll say that we have to enhance the utilization of our resources. All resources are around us, but sometimes these cannot be tapped. So we have to use this system to utilize the resources effectively. We have to improve the financial decisions using the AI techniques. We have to improve the academic and research planning. It is also very important. If we don't have the previous data, we cannot make a good plan. So we should have the real-time data available, real-time status of KPI, of course, and of course we should forecast the risk and required resources for the future. And of course, collaboration of a stakeholder is very important, which can only be possible with these sort of technology. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any question, you may ask, and you can contact me through this QR code. So if you have any questions, please.
We take questions at the end.
At the end, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take some questions at the end. Thank you for that interesting talk, certainly about the bots and the AI and the systems and how our educational systems actually can benefit from Quality 4.0. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Atif Shahab. He's currently working as Manager Quality Assurance in IOPM. He has more than 15 years of experience in the education sector and with proven efficiency in quality assurance, compliance, and training. He has facilitated higher education institutions in terms of ranking, national, international, and in terms of strategic planning for HEIs. He has earned his MBA in marketing, MPhil in marketing from Accra University, and he's in the final stages of his PhD degree completion. Please, band kare. Thank you. He has reviewed several public and private sector universities as part of the external quality assurance mechanism of HEC. And moreover, he has 4 industrial design projects, 1 patent and IPO that is registered with the IPO Pakistan. So with that, I would like to welcome Mr. Atif Shahab to talk about the topic on closing the loop, reassessing IQA procedures in higher education.
So, thank you very much, Wasif, for giving me a good platform. So, the topic I'll be presenting and I'll be sharing, in fact, this is the closing the loop, reassessing the IQA procedures in higher education. But before I move on with my presentation, a bit of an introduction of mine. Recently done with the PhD Viva. It has been like good 15 years I'm working with QVC. Impact factor researches done, Scopus done, HEC recognized journal done, IP reviewed several universities including public and private sector universities, training, PGPR. This is a regular feature, and this is my whole world right in front of all of my QVC family. But before I move on with the presentation and with my thought and whatever I have in the remaining part of my presentation, what do you assess out of this picture? Including my virtual audience, please. Where? We are sitting in the higher education institution, and all of us are associated with the higher education institution. So in that perspective, what do you assess out of this picture?
The situation remains the same as any other issues.
Yes, don't you think it's us?
Yes.
In the higher education institutions? Everybody's having a different dimension, and yes, everybody try to move on, and we are ending up nowhere. So this is the situation at higher education institutions in most of the cases. I won't be saying in every institution, but yes, in most of the institution, this is what we are dealing with on day-to-day basis. So what are the causes? What are the causes of this specific mess up? Let's go towards that first. Then we'll be discussing something about the QECs, that QECs की हालत ज़ार क्या है, and then obviously a pinch of technology, as my friend said. कुछ data analytics होने चाहिए यूनिवर्सिटी में, कुछ उससे outcome होना चाहिए, rather than doing everything manually, getting the forms filled and then manually entering into Excel and then going for the analysis. नहीं चल सकता. The quantum of data we are dealing with in HEIs on day-to-day basis, believe me, will end up nowhere if you'll not be using the technology. So what are the problems with the HEIs nowadays? And I would say not with a specific HEI, but across the globe we have like across Pakistan 250 plus universities. The very first problem with the higher education institution is the resource allocation, poor resource allocation, and specifically the resource allocation in terms of the financial resources. But I have given you one example that how Stanford is doing so. The endowment fund is $24.8 billion. और उसमें कर रहे क्या है? Sponsored research का उसमें है percentage 17%. We have health care services 20%. We have expendable gift and assets 6%. Other income 5%. But my question is, how our universities are gathering their income? We have only one resource, that is the student fees. And when it comes to the allocation of that resource towards the expenditures and the salaries, all of you are aware that what is the spending of your university or my university towards the salaries and the benefits of the employees and the faculty. And when you gauge yourself with the Stanford, see, the 62% is the salary and the benefit to the person who is involved directly into teaching and learning, and that is the teachers. And in here, in our scenario in Pakistan, a lecturer is getting like good 60, 65K a month and teaching like good 4 courses going back home. The high-end salary in the teaching side is like 350K, that is all about it. Universities which are on commercial models, they are minting money and best. Yes, when it comes to spending in terms of salary to the teachers, a very less amount of money is being allocated to the salaries. When it comes to the increment, 10% inflationary लगेगा जब तो उसमें 10% नहीं, उसमें 7% का impact आएगा आपकी salary. So the very first issue that is there with the HEAs of Pakistan is the resource allocation, specifically the financial resource allocation. The second most important issue is the deviation from the mission. वासिफ ने बात की थोड़ी देर पहले जी, मिशन विजन होना चाहिए, OBE तक हमें जाना है, क्लासरूम में जो एक टेस्ट हो रहा है उसकी आउटकम गेज होनी चाहिए. बट द पॉइंट इज दैट हम सब चल रहे हैं कहाँ? एलिस इन द वंडरलैंड. ये पिक्चर मैंने बड़ा डेलिबरेटली लगाई. एलिस इन द वंडरलैंड अगर किसी ने नहीं देखी, मैं कुछ एक्सप्लेन करता जाता हूँ. एलिस जब जंगल में खो जाती है ना, तो ऊपर बिल्ला बैठा होता है, उसको बोलती है विच वे टू गो. बिल्ला उसको कहता है वेयर डू यू वांट टू गो. एलिस कहती है आई डोंट नो. तो बिल्ला उसको कहता है टेक एनी वे, यू विल गो एनीवे. This is the situation of most of the higher education institutions in Pakistan. They don't have mission, vision, objectives, outcomes, and down the lane when it comes to the application till the OBE, जब उसकी alignment देखते हैं upward, तो Alice in the Wonderland चल रहा होता है हमारे पास कि take any way, you will go anywhere. इस्लामियात का कोर्स भी हमने एक specific OBE में डाल के एक specific outcome से लिंक कर दिया हुआ है, जो शायद किसी इंजीनियरिंग के कोर्स का आउटकम था. मूविंग ऑन, मिशन विजन ऑब्जेक्टिव आउटकम्स का तो शायद अभी कुछ कल्चर डेवलप हुआ जब से एक्रेडिटेशन काउंसिल और HEC थोड़ा स्ट्रांग आया हमारे पास. अदरवाइज उससे पहले एक मिशन बन जाता था फ्लैशी सेट ऑफ वर्ड्स जिसमें लिखा था होता था आई वांट टू बिकम द वर्ल्ड क्लास इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च. जब बात आती थी रिसर्च पे फंड एलोकेशन की, तो वो 1 या 2% से ज्यादा नहीं, जो कि HEC में भी शायद 3% की रिकमेंडेशन. Then chain of command. One very important, I would say, one very prominent issue in most of the higher education institution, dean के directives कुछ और हैं, VC के directives कुछ और हैं, HODs के directives कुछ और हैं, और नीचे down the lane जिसने action करना है, he is confused कि मैं किसकी सुनूं, अपने HOD की या dean की या VC की सुनूं, मैं किसकी सुनूं? Chain of command. क्यों? क्योंकि ऊपर mission, vision, objectives not in line, no strategic plan is existent. तो जब नीचे chain of command की बात आती है तो again एक haphazard situation है. Down the line front line managers जो हम सब यहाँ बैठे हैं front line QVC के लोग, हमें पता ही नहीं है जाना किस तरफ है. Again Alice in the Wonderland. और क्या common issues हैं हम सबके? Mismatch between what is needed and what is being taught in the HEIs. पढ़ाना क्या है हमने? स्टेम के कोर्सेज पढ़ाएं, IoT सर ने कहा, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स, AI के कोर्सेज पढ़ाएं, मार्केटिंग पढ़ाएं, क्या पढ़ाएं? जब हमारी एजुकेशन पॉलिसी फ्रॉम टॉप टिल डाउनवर्ड्स टुवर्ड्स द HEIs उसमें कुछ अलाइनमेंट नहीं है, तो हम होता क्या है, ग्रेजुएट निकलता है और जॉबलेस क्लेम का नंबर ये आपके सामने है. ये नंबर वो है जो ऑफिशियल नंबर है. जॉबलेस क्लेम इज गोइंग अप टू 7.8%. Just because of this mismatch between what is needed and what is being taught in the HEIs, और इसकी वजूहात क्या है, we all are very well aware of it. और उसको 7.8 I said is the number from the government website. अगर आप real time किसी नंबर की बात करें, that is much higher than this. What else are the problems? One of the most common problem, policies की implementation in true letter and spirit, a big question mark. क्रेडिट ट्रांसफर की पॉलिसी फॉर एग्जांपल, उसके बाद आज तक अगर मैं आपको जो ऑडियंस यहाँ पे और जो वर्चुअल ऑडियंस, एनरोलमेंट की डेफिनेशन प्रॉब्ली आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी में कुछ और है, मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी में कुछ और है. एप्लीकेंट की डेफिनेशन आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी में कुछ और, मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी में कुछ और. सेम वे अगर ट्रू लेटर स्पिरिट की बात करें और थोड़ा HEC की तरफ चलें, अगेन अ बिग क्वेश्चन मार्क इज देयर. इनकंसिस्टेंसी इन द पॉलिसीज ऑफ HEIs. ये अभी आपके सामने कुछ दिनों पहले आई होगी, कुछ बैचलर डिग्री के अंदर कुछ चेंजेस की हैं उसकी पॉलिसी, उससे कुछ अरसे बाद शायद आने वाली आ चुकी हुई है पॉलिसी, PhD की पॉलिसी रिवाइज कर दी. तो अगेन ट्रू लेटर एंड स्पिरिट ऑफ पॉलिसी, HEIs and down the lane towards the higher education institution, there's a big question mark till now, and we are a good 75 years old nation. और हमारे पास कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशन ऐसे भी हैं जो शायद पाकिस्तान बनने से पहले हमें शायद यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कराची और यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ ढाका हमें इनहेरिटेंस में मिले थे, और ये इश्यूज आज तक वहां भी एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. उसके बाद वन कॉमन इशू, बादशाही सरकार और मैं. दिस इज वन थिंग दैट वी डील ऑन डे टू डे बेसिस. एक्रेडिटेशन काउंसिल आनी है, AACSB फॉर एग्जांपल, और NBAC और NCAC. डीन साहब उस दिन कहते हैं मैं देख लूंगा जिस दिन वो आएंगे. But when that accreditation council is there present at your venue, तो आप ढूंढ रहे होते हैं वो कहाँ गए बादशाह सलामत जिन्होंने प्रेजेंट करना था, और एडहॉक प्रेजेंटेशन एक बनती है और उस वक्त एक सनम जैसा QVC का डायरेक्टर भाग के प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहा होता है. It's a very common issue. Not, I would not be nominating any specific institution, but yes, masses are doing so. Moving on. Causes of poor standards, political instability. Political instability in the country, as political legal situation affect the micro level environment of any organization working in a country. Again a big question mark till now. और आजकल की specific political condition, हमें कोई policy, कोई futuristic decision जिसमें खास तौर पे पैसा involve हो, कोई नया resource allocation, इन सब पे क्वेश्चन मार्क हैं. वी आर नॉट स्टार्टिंग ऑफ विद एनी न्यू बिल्डिंग और एनी न्यू इनिशिएटिव. जो वासिफ साहब ने बात की टेक्नोलॉजी की इंप्लीमेंटेशन, बात करेंगे तो डॉलर्स में पेमेंट जाएंगी. अगेन अ बिग क्वेश्चन मार्क जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी इन द कंट्री. कॉस्ट ऑफ फेंसिंग इज अगेन अ बिग इशू. सिक्योरिटी इज अ बिग इशू. और उसके बाद अगर बात करें हमारे पास फेंसिंग की कॉस्ट की, तो अगर ये डाउ का ही ओजा कैंपस की फेंसिंग की कॉस्ट देखें बिकॉज ऑफ दिस पुअर सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स, तो इट विल बी कॉस्टिंग देम मिलियंस. लैक ऑफ क्वालिटी फैकल्टी स्टाफ बोथ, जो हमारे पास वासिफ ने भी थोड़ी देर बात की, कॉम्पिटेंट लोग. Serious issues with university specifically after the MS PhD reviews. हमारे पास इंजीनियरिंग की स्पेशलाइजेशन वाले पीएचडी जाके बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट का थीसिस भी सुपरवाइज कर, जब रिव्यू विजिट होता है और उनसे चले सेल्फ आईपी के लिए, सेल्फ पीजीपीआर के लिए अगर सनम आते हैं, वासिफ आते हैं, अदनान आते हैं, जो पॉइंट आउट करते हैं तो लोगों को बुरा भी लग जाता है। नहीं, हार्वर्ड में तो एक साइंस का पीएचडी भी उठा के बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट का थीसिस कराता है, मगर ये सोचते नहीं है कि हार्वर्ड स्टैनफोर्ड को बनने में कितने 100 साल हो चुके हैं, उनका सिस्टम मेच्योर कितना है, हाउ सीरियस आर दे अबाउट दी आउटकम ऑफ देयर स्टूडेंट्स स्पेसिफिकली व्हेन इट कम्स टू दी रिसर्च डिग्रीज। तो इसकी शायद इफेक्ट भी नजर आते हैं हमें उनकी इकोनॉमी पे, उनके बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होते हैं उन रिसर्चेस से, उनकी सोसाइटल एंड सोशल एंड इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम और उनके एनवायरमेंटल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होते नजर आते हैं। बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू आवर साइड, यहाँ पे अभी भी क्वेश्चन मार्क, एंड यस it is about that competency that we're talking about, not just in terms of PhD faculty, but yes, in terms of the administrative staff as well. Irrelevancy की बात होगी, brain drain a big issue, हम पढ़ाते हैं बच्चा बाहर। अगर सिर्फ पिछले 2-3 महीने का फिगर उठा के देख लें तो जो इंटेलेक्चुअल्स हमने पैदा किए बीइंग दी HEIs, उनमें शायद लाखों के हिसाब से बाहर चले गए लोग। हर रोज हमारे पास PQR, क्योंकि हमारे पास QEC में ही है, तो लोग डिग्री अटेस्ट कराते, कोई इशू आता है तो रेफर करते हैं हमारे ऑफिस को। एवरी डे देयर इज समवन हु इज लीविंग द कंट्री और डिग्री अटेस्टेशन के लिए जाता है, तो हमारे पास फीडबैक आते हैं इन सब चीजों के। Hundreds of thousands of people are leaving. Every intellectual that we are producing is leaving the country. इसकी वजूहात क्या है वो शायद हम सबको पता है, बट यस दे आर मोर इनटू पॉलिटिकल साइड एंड दैट इज नॉट आवर डोमेन। तो आगे बढ़े अगर, व्हाट आर द अदर प्रॉब्लम्स, ये वो प्रेजेंटेशन है, ये वो कुछ डिस्कशन है। शायद ये प्रेजेंटेशन को थोड़ा सा पॉज करके अगर हम थोड़ी दिल की बात, तो ये हम सबके दिल की बात, ये प्रेजेंटेशन और ये सारी चीजें जो मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ, दिस इज फ्रॉम द कोर ऑफ माय हार्ट एंड आई नो it has a strong connectivity with your hearts and minds as well। इसके अलावा बात करें तो हमारे पास क्या इश्यूज है हायर एजुकेशन में। मदरसा एजुकेशन इनपुट आ रहा है आपके पास मैट्रिक इंटर के सिस्टम से, कुछ मदरसा के सिस्टम से, प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में भी डिफरेंट कैडर्स, गवर्नमेंट स्कूल्स ईयरली सिस्टम वाला हमारे पास आता है सेमेस्टर सिस्टम, अ होल कंफ्यूजन फॉर द एंटायर सेटअप ऑफ द यूनिवर्सिटी। अगेन अगर बात करें प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में भी, तो उसमें भी टीयर्स डिफाइन, फर्स्ट ईयर, सेकंड ईयर, थर्ड ईयर, अगेन अ बिग कंफ्यूजन, जहां पर से हमारे पास ये सारा लॉट स्टूडेंट का आना है। उसके बाद पुअर क्वालिटी एट प्राइमरी एजुकेशन, लैक ऑफ टीचर ट्रेनिंग, इस पे भी मेरे दोस्त वासिफ साहब ने बहुत बात की कि जी ट्रेनिंग ऑफ टीचर्स। In most of the cases, with all due respect to my teachers who are sitting here or which are virtually present, me myself, I still teach marketing courses. हम सब में in most of the cases कोई specific बात नहीं है किसी एक individual की, हम सब accidental teacher हैं। हम सब में कितने लोग trained teacher हैं, big question mark, यहाँ भी काफी लोग present हैं। trained teacher कितने हैं? एक हमारे पास पूरे हॉल में मैडम ने बात की कि जी मैं trained teacher। उसके अलावा like we have like good 50 people sitting here and we have our average निकाले, not just the 1%। हमारे पास HEIs में टीचर ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम हार्डली किसी इंस्टीट्यूट में हमारे पास ना ही अब बना, उससे पहले टीचर्स की ट्रेनिंग का एक प्रोग्राम रन करते थे हमारे पास HEC वाले, तो दैट इज ऑल अबाउट इट। अगेन यूनिवर्सिटीज बने एज आई सेड, कुछ शायद 75 साल से भी पुरानी है, और हम सब में अगर बहुत ही मोहतात अंदाजा लगाएं तो हम सब में जितने लोग यहाँ हैं और कुछ हमारे जो दोस्त ऑनलाइन हैं, तो 30-40 साल पुराने, तो बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशन होंगे हमारे पास। आगे पुअर गवर्नेंस, जिसमें वासिफ ने मुझे बड़ा अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म दिया अपनी लीडरशिप की बात करके। पुअर गवर्नेंस इज वन बिग इशू। मैं इसमें बहुत स्पेसिफिक किसी का नाम लेके बात नहीं करूंगा, बट यस बिलीव मी, कैपेसिटी इश्यूज एट द टॉप मैन, वाइस चांसलर इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस, जो फैमिली ओरिएंटेड बिजनेसेस हैं उनमें स्पेसिफिकली गवर्नेंस, स्पेसिफिकली एजुकेशन गवर्नेंस का बिल्कुल आइडिया नहीं है उनको कि एजुकेशन गवर्नेंस में आपकी कुछ स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडीज हैं, डिसीजन उन्होंने लेने हैं, आपकी बादशाही और मैं डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते। मैंने कह दिया इसलिए कर दो। आईपी पे आएंगे ये लोग और पूछेंगे जी फॉर एग्जांपल किसी कोर्स में चेंजेस कैसे हुए, तो जी मैंने कहा नहीं, वो कहें जी एकेडमिक काउंसिल द एपिक्स अथॉरिटी व्हिच इज सपोज्ड टू ब्रिंग इन चेंज इन एनी कोर्स, उसके मिनट्स लेके और फिर क्यूवीसी वाले मेरे और आप जैसे लोग पूरे कैंपस में भाग रहे दौड़ रहे होते हैं जी कहाँ जाएं, वो पता चलता है जी स्पेशल पावर्स यूज करके किसी ने अप्रूव कर दिया। करप्शन अगेन, यहाँ पे भी स्पेसिफिकली तो बात नहीं कर सकते, बट यस जनरली इट इज समथिंग दैट इज इनग्रेन्ड इन सम ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशंस। एक ऐसी यूनिवर्सिटी को भी जानता हूं मैं जिसमें शायद जो एपेक्स बॉडी में जितने लोग हैं सारे नैब को मत लो, बट यस इट इज देयर, इट इज इन द बिजनेस। बट क्वेश्चन इज कि जब ऐसे लोग टॉप पे मौजूद होंगे डाउन द लेन, इसका कैस्केडिंग इफेक्ट क्या होगा। एनीवेज मूविंग ऑन, प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत सारे हैं, एज आई सेड कुछ चीजें फ्रॉम द कोर ऑफ माय हार्ट, स्लो एंड insufficient processes. Vasit की presentation was a good platform for me. Outdated systems and poorly designed course structure. Outdated system technology से हम आज भी दूर भागते हैं। वासिफ की although me I am a strong preacher of technology embedment in the higher education, मगर वासिफ की प्रेजेंटेशन मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें सोचने पे मजबूर कर रही थी कि भाई IoT सेंसर बेस्ड सिस्टम को अप्लाई करने में कितने साल लग जाएंगे। हम ऑलरेडी बीइंग द हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन, बीइंग द नेशन, टेक्नोलॉजी वाइज बहुत पीछे है दुनिया से। हमारे पास आज भी पोर्टल्स नहीं है, हमारे पास आज भी फॉर एग्जांपल अलुमनाई का पोर्टल कितनी यूनिवर्सिटीज के पास, एडमिशन पोर्टल की इंट्रोडक्शन रीसेंट पास का काम है हमारे पास फैकल्टी के पोर्टल्स, ये सारी चीजें कितनी यूनिवर्सिटी के पास, बहुत कम आप उंगलियों पे गिन सकेंगे ये सारी चीजें। कितनी यूनिवर्सिटीज ऐसी हैं जिनके पास अपनी मोबाइल ऐप है कि स्टूडेंट सारी चीजें ऑनलाइन देख सके। सो अगेन आउटडेटेड सिस्टम, पूरली डिजाइन कोर्स स्ट्रक्चर, आज तक सिस्टम अपनी जगह, सिस्टम के अंदर कोर्स की मैपिंग तक नहीं, कोर्स के स्ट्रक्चर्स डिजाइन नहीं है, प्रीरेक्विजिट टू एडवांस, सेमेस्टर 1 टू सेमेस्टर 2 किस तरह चलाना है। अगेन टिल डेट with my experience of so many reviews of PGPR and IP, I can tell you these things are still question mark. We're hard to change, not adapted. हमें कल्चरल शिफ्ट की जरूरत है टुवर्ड्स द टेक्नोलॉजी। हम आज भी एक ऐसे एनवायरनमेंट में जिंदा हैं जहां पे पहले ईमेल लिखी जाती है, वो बॉस को भेजी जाती है, फिर उसके सिस्टम पे जाया जाता है, फिर वहां से टू में जिनको वो ईमेल भेजनी होती है वो करके फॉरवर्ड सब्जेक्ट से हटा के फिर सेंड पे क्लिक किया जाता है। सो अकाउंटेबिलिटी अगेन a big question mark in our higher education institution. जज़ा और सजा का बहुत बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट है इस्लाम में, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली जहां हम कहते हैं इंटेलेक्चुअल्स पैदा करेंगे, अच्छा काम करें तो शाबाश नहीं है, बुरा अगर अल्लाह ना करे हो जाए तो सजा भी कोई नहीं। वी आर मूविंग द वे वी आर मूविंग, चल रहे हैं। आज का दिन गुजर गया, 28-29 को तनख्वाह आ जाती है, दैट इज ऑल अबाउट इट। कल्चरल लिथार्जी, इस पे मैं स्पेसिफिकली विद ऑल ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट विद माय कोलीग्स क्यूईसी फ्रेंड्स फ्रॉम पंजाब कर लांगे, कल कर लांगे। इसमें मैं आपको स्पेसिफिक एग्जांपल देता जाता हूँ। पास में एक यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ काम करने का मौका मिला, तो वो एक उधर ये एक्सपीरियंस, बल्कि प्रीवियस 2 एम्प्लॉयर्स ऑफ माइन, टीचर्स को पेपर लेके गया एक टीचर चेक करने घर पे, रिजल्ट लॉक करने के लिए उसमें सिर्फ हमें टाइम मिलता था शायद 3 दिन का, ठीक है। 3 दिन बाद जब एग्जामिनेशन के कंट्रोलर ने शीट निकाली है किस किस टीचर ने रिजल्ट नहीं डाला हुआ, तो एक पर्सन एक्स का नाम भी आ गया। पहले उनको फोन किए गए, उन्होंने रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं किया, फिर एक ऑफिस से बंदा भेजा, वो उनके घर गया, उनके साथ बैठ के पेपर चेक कराए, और उसके बाद उनसे कहा कि सर प्लीज रिजल्ट अपलोड करें, अगर आप नहीं तो मुझे नंबर बता दें, मैं अपलोड करता हूँ सिस्टम पे। अपलोड किए और फिर वहां से रिजल्ट लॉक किया, और वो फिर पेपर ला के वापस उसने हमारे एक स्टाफ ने जमा करा दिए एग्जामिनेशन डिपार्टमेंट। कल्चरल लेथार्जी, एज आई सेड, कल कर लेंगे, परसों, और परसों के बाद शायद भूल जाते हैं। रिसेंट पास का एक और एग्जांपल, कल्चरल लेथार्जी। अगेन क्यूसी वालों का काम है कि ईमेल दाग देनी है कि जी ये ले जी एसआर बनाना है, प्रोग्राम टीम नॉमिनेट कर दें। एक दिन को ईमेल कर दी, इसी तरह हमने भी जी आप प्रोग्राम टीम नॉमिनेट करें। टाइम गुजरता जा रहा है, हमने स्ट्रिक्ट टाइमलाइंस बीट करनी होती है, एज यू ऑल नो। जुलाई टू जून वासिफ साहब ने कहा थोड़ी देर पहले, हाँ जी बिल्कुल। उसके बाद डेटा सबमिट करना है वरना नंबर कटेंगे। शोएब की आ जाती है कि ईमेल जी के ये स्पेसिफिक तारीख है, एक दिन डिले हुआ तो 10 नंबर माइनस है आपके। तो हम सब अल्लाह ताला से डरते हैं, मगर यहाँ पे यूनिवर्सिटी में शायद वीसी से भी ना डरते हो जितना एचईसी से डर जाते हैं हम, ठीक है। तो शोएब से बहुत डरते हैं, इज अ गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, तो मैं बड़ा इस हक और दावे से नाम लेता हूँ शोएब का। तो कल्चरल लेथार्जी की बात हो रही, तो डीन साहब को ईमेल कर दी, प्रोग्राम टीम नॉमिनेट करें जी। एक दिन गुजरा, 2 दिन, 10 दिन गुजरे, एक रिमाइंडर ईमेल गई, 5 दिन बाद एक और रिमाइंडर ईमेल गई। फिर मैंने अपने ऑफिस से एक कुलीग थी मेरी, मैंने उनका जाएं देखें सर कहाँ है, वो ऑफिस गई, देखा तो 1500 ईमेल उनके इनबॉक्स में सर को बिठा के पहले ही अनरेड पड़ी हुई थी और बड़े फखर से बता रहे थे मैं तो ईमेल पढ़ता ही नहीं। हम बात करते हैं क्वालिटी इंप्रूव करेंगे हम, पहले बेसिक चीजों तो शायद सही कर लें, मिजाज तो सही कर लें अपने। उसके बाद ट्रेंड बेस्ड सिलेक्शन ऑफ मेजर डिसिप्लिन, सरप्लस ऑन वन फील्ड एंड डेफिशिएंट ऑन अदर। थोड़े अरसे पहले भी हवा चली थी 90s में, आईटी पढ़ लो, आईटी पढ़ लो, सारी दुनिया आईटी पढ़ने घुस गई। ठीक है जी, सारी दुनिया ने आईटी पढ़ लिया। उसके बाद 9/11 हुआ तो सब चीजें, वो वर्ड यूज होता है मीडिया पे, दबड़दुज हो गई। और उसके बाद पता चला जी अब हमें बिजनेस पढ़ लो, बिजनेस पढ़ लो, हर यूनिवर्सिटी के पास। अब जब बिजनेस पढ़ लिया हमने तो हमारी इंडस्ट्री का आज हाल आपके सामने। तो जो बिजनेस ग्रेजुएट हमने प्रोड्यूस करने हैं, तो हमने ऊपर एक बात की थी जी, जॉबलेस क्लेम हाई हो रहा है। ट्रेंड बेस्ड है ना, हर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन पास बीबीए का प्रोग्राम इज एट इट्स पीक, हंड्रेड्स ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स। ट्रेंड बेस्ड है जी, आपके पास है जी तो आईओबीएम के पास है, तो जैबिस के पास भी है, तो इकरा के पास भी है, तो एक्स के पास भी है, तो भाई तो मैं भी बीबीए कराने लग जाऊं। इंडस्ट्री पीछे है नहीं, इंडस्ट्री चलती इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर से, रिसोर्सेज भी नहीं, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी नहीं, इंडस्ट्री भी नहीं, तो बिजनेस ग्रेजुएट किस बिजनेस में जाके परफॉर्म करेगा। अगेन लैक ऑफ क्वालिटी इन HEIs। कुछ हम क्विकली चलते हैं, कुछ हमारे पास आगे टीचिंग मेथोडोलॉजी के इशू, रोबोट लर्निंग पे बड़ा हमारी तवज्जो है, प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस थोड़ा हम कम कराते हैं स्टूडेंट्स को। कुछ हम क्विकली जाएं टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट की वजह से, ताकि हम थोड़ा टेक्नोलॉजी का पिंच डाल दें इसके अंदर, क्योंकि वासिफ ने कहा था कि जी टेक्नोलॉजी के बगैर गुजारा नहीं, और आई एम स्टैंडिंग बाय विद माय फ्रेंड। We have a lack of interactive teaching, plagiarism and cheating is still a big issue with us. Education as business, specifically in the private sector institution, education charter तो हम लेते हैं उस बेस पे कि नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, बट यस कोर बिजनेस इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं हम, सॉरी टू से। उसके बाद लैक ऑफ फैसिलिटीज इन टर्म्स ऑफ बुक, जर्नल्स, इक्विपमेंट, स्पोर्टिंग फैसिलिटीज, रिटायरिंग रूम्स एंड ड्यूरेशन ऑफ क्लासेस स्पेसिफिकली। आज भी कहीं भी, यहाँ जितने लोग बैठे हुए हैं वो भी एविडेंट है, और वर्चुअल भी, कहीं 1.5 घंटे की क्लास है, कहीं 3 घंटे की। We have underutilization of classrooms. Again, my friend said कि हम इसकी यूटिलिटी पे टेक्नोलॉजी के थ्रू बहुत कुछ काम कर सकते हैं। शटल सर्विस, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, काउंसलिंग, डे केयर, प्लेसमेंट ऑफिस still not present in most of the organizations. Grievance and conflict resolution की कमेटीज आज अब HEC ने पुश किया the organization out over